The first stringing skill that we're going to do is replacing a treble wire that starts at one tuning pin, will go around a hitch pin, and return to the second tuning pin. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've already, when I removed the coil, I backed the pin out a half a turn, and so now I'm going to back the pin out another half a turn so that when I put my coil on, the pin goes back to the same height that it was at the start. So I look to see where the hole is in the pin, and I'm now going to take the opposite side. So I've given that a half a turn. The second pin, I'm giving half a turn. Now I'm ready. And I've already used the micrometer to measure the diameter of the old wire, and I matched it with the diameter of the new wire. So that is very important that the diameters of the wire match. I'll put the new wire underneath the V-bar, and I use the hook to reach under and guide it up, but you could use a needle nose plier. Kind of lay it out to get the kinks out of the wire. Now I'm going to put this wire into a tuning pin, and with the tuning pin crank, I'm going to put 2.5 turns on it. So the wire is just barely sticking through the pin. Thumb is on the back side. Pressure is on it. And I'm going to make this look easy, but I'm telling you it's not. So I'm going to start turning. When it comes around to the bend, that's 1, 2, to the opposite hole is your half. 1, 2.5. And if you've done it right, when you release the pressure, the bend is at the top of the pin. I'm going to use the needle nose, pull it out, and put it on the pin. Take the becket, that's the bendy part of the wire, put it in the hole, and make sure that it goes all the way into the hole. Then on the other end, I'm going to put my thumb just in front of this hitch pin, and at my thumb marking, make a bend in the wire so that with a little bit of pressure, I pull the string back around the hitch pin, actually bend it a little more. Now I can take the first wire, put it over the bridge pins. Then I use my hand as the gauge for the wire on the second one, and I just have my fingers right at the edge of the pin, and my cutting tool right at the edge of my fingers. Cut the wire to length, and now put this wire underneath the V-bar, making sure that it's in the right space. Oops, I don't want to cross them over. Did you see that almost happening? Bringing it up. Putting the wire on the bridge pins. Putting my coil on the second wire through the pin. Just a tiny bit of wire sticking through. I'm going to give it 2.5 turns. Pressure with my thumb. Okay, when it comes around, 1, 2, half. Becket's on top. Remove it with the needle nose. Put it on the second pin. Beckett into the tuning pin hole, making sure it goes all the way in. Use your string hook. That's not a string hook, is this? It's a kind of a lever to lift the coil even and straight. And the Beckett came about halfway out, so I'm going to give this half a turn on this one. Half a turn on the other one. Use these duckbill pliers, push the Beckett clear in. Use my string leveler. And now at this point, before I have too much tension on the wire, I'm gonna check its spacing. That's almost a lot of pressure, but no, I could still move it. There, got that in place. Put a little more pressure. And I'm watching back here for the string to really show that it has tension, which it does. And so now I'm going to finish up the second coil using the lifter to level it. I've got some pressure on it. Now I'm going to evaluate the spacing. I almost put too much pressure on it. I'm gonna use my tool here to, and if I have to take some pressure off, I certainly can. There, you can hear it pop into the groove, and you can see that the string spacing looks pretty much like it was previously finished. Now you can start tuning, and I'll just use my plucking method. Next side. And that's good for the tuning at this point. Then I have a brass tool that I'm just going to make sure that the pin is completely down on the plate. I'm going to make sure that the pin is, or the string rather, the string is down on the bridge. And this is very light, very gentle taps. So then the evaluating, and the last thing, always double check that the bend is in as far as it possibly can be. So what we're looking for, really, these turned out really well because both Becketts ended at about the same place on each pin. Each pin has 3 turns of coil on it. The coils are completely stacked together. There's no crossing of the coils. I'm gonna actually, I've got this tool. I'm gonna tap the coil downward a little bit just to make sure that the coils are really, really tight together. And that is putting a treble wire on.